Mechanics. The players should avoid touching or falling over the backup player while jumping over. The backup player should start with a kneeling down position. A backup player bends over with their hands placed on his knees. All players are to jump over the baka until all the players have jumped. Mechanics. The objective of the game is for all players in a team to jump over the height of the piled hands of the opposing team. A player must avoid hitting the piled hands with any part of his body or clothing. The two mothers are expected to be high jumpers. The first to jump is decided by the mothers by tossing a slipper. The mother whose team wins the toss will have the first jump. The other team serves as the taya, or on the base, and forms the tinik or turns with their feet and hands. Mechanics. There are two bases. Each base has equal number of members. There will be one person assigned to be Mechanics. There are two bases. Each base has equal numbers of members. There will be one person assigned to guard the base. The others may leave the base to run and try to catch another members of the other team or try to steal the opponent's base. Mechanics. The hitter is given only 3 attempts to launch the hit. If he fails, his teammate takes turn to play, starting from the first level. If the hitter succeeds in his first launch, they count their score once more. The count starts from the drop point of the hit to the base. Mechanics. A hand clapping game generally involving 4 people. They are split into 2 pairs, a pair having 2 people facing each other and all members from both pairs facing the center. The 2 pairs being perpendicular to each other. Each pair then does a hand clapping routine while singing the Bahay Kubo. At the middle of the song, each pair exchanges routines with the other.
Bahay kubo, kahit muntik, ang halaman doon ay sari-sari, singkamas at talong, sigarilyas at mani, sitaw, bataw, batani, pundol, patula, pupot, kalabasa, at saka mayroon pang labanos, mustasa, sibuyas, kamatis, bawang at luya. Sa paligid-ligid ay puno ng linga.
Mechanics. Buwan-buwan is a traditional Filipino game that enacts the lunar eclipse. Players draw a circle on the ground representing the moon and must stay inside the circle. Meanwhile, one player acts as the Bakunawa, the mythical giant sea serpent who would eat the moon. He may not enter the circle but must touch another player who is inside it in order to switch places. Mechanics. The goal. The two teams should successfully traverse a 100-meter course. Each course is marked at every 25th meter. The first player on each team stands behind the starting point, while the second player stands on the 25th meter mark. The third player waits at the 50th meter mark, and the last player on the 75th mark. The signal of get set The first player stands ready behind the starting line. They now hold their respective stilts. At the signal of go, the players mount their stilts and start walking towards the 25th meter mark. Then, they go off the stilts for the second players to continue the course to the 50th mark. This process is repeated until the fourth players reach the finish line or the 100 meter. The team that completes the course first is the winner. Each player is allowed only 2 errors. This means that if the player falls off the stilts more than twice, his team loses the game. Mechanics. The game starts with a toss of a coin to decide the team that becomes the passer or runner. There is a time limit of 2 minutes for each team to score. Once the 2 minutes elapse, the two teams change sides, and the guards become the passers and vice versa. Mechanics. Each team is composed of 10 to 12 players. At a given signal, the first player of each team walks with his coconut shell or hash towards his goal line. Upon reaching the goal line, he turns around with his stilts and returns to the starting line. The second, third, fourth, up to the last player will do the same. The first team to finish the race wins. A team whose player walks for more than 2 steps after a fall will be disqualified. A team whose player falls twice is disqualified. Mechanics. The sipa is thrown upwards for the player to using only the leg, particularly the area from the foot until above the knee. The player must prevent the sipa touching the ground by hitting it several times. Each hit is counted. The player kicking the sipa most wins the game. Mechanics. To play this game, two players must face each other from a distance with a garter stretched around them so that they could create parallel lengths of garter between each other. One player will do the jumping routine over the garter while reciting the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. The game gets more difficult as the level progresses. On the first level, the garter must be in angkel or bukong-bukong in Tagalog. Second, the garter must be in the knees of the players or on Tagalog, likod-tuhod. Third, the garter must be in below the puwet or under the butt. And fourth is in the kilikili or armpit. Close fit, side view, magic, leeg, around the world, tinikling, and apak are some of the stages of this game. The higher the level, the higher the height of the garter. The player who can manage to do the jumping routines despite of the progress and level will be considered as the winner. Mechanics. The objective is for the players to hit and knock down the can with the slipper, and for the taya to put back the can inside a small circle a few meters away from the toe line. When a player is tagged while recovering their slippers, they become the taya. are many types of games using Holland, and one of it is Tira. It is composed of 2 to 5 players, and they will bet Holland as many as they want. Players will form their Holland in a line. Players will toss their Pamato in a line, and the player with the closest Holland in the line will be the first player to throw. The first player will throw its Pamato to the lined Hollands, and the first player to hit one of the Hollands without hitting the other Hollands is the winner and will take all the Hollands they bet. Mechanics. A trompo uses a string wrapped around it to get the necessary spin needed. The player must roll the cord around the trompo from the metallic tip up. The user must then tie the string in a knot on the bottom shaped tip before releasing it. When rolling the cord around the trompo, the cord must be tightly attached to it. Mechanics. The taya is determined through sudden death jack and poi or the rock paper scissors match-ups. Person who loses the game is the taya. All players run to elevated positions. Taya chance. Langit, lupa, impyerno. Impyerno. Saksak, puso, tuluan dugo, patay, buhay. Umalis ka na sa pwesto mo. At the end of the chat, everyone must run to new positions and the taya must tag someone. The tag player now becomes the taya and repeat. Mechanics. Throw the stone on the marked area. Try to aim the number 5. The player whose stone is nearest to the number 5 is the first to play, and the stone whose farthest is the last one. The player will throw the stone at the first box. Then, he will jump across the area without stepping in the first box. Before he returns, he should pick up his stone, still without jumping the first box. It's the next player's turn. He will only do the first player's did. After all the players get to turn, the first player will now throw his stone on the second box and repeat the procedure. Now, not stepping on the second box. If a player steps on a line, they stop and let the next player try. They have to wait until their next turn to try again. The first player to reach the last box wins. Mechanics. This game played usually every windy season in empty places. Sarangola is usually made of string, paper, and stick. They can be of any form. The important thing is it can freely fly. This game became popular in every corner of the country and further became a kite fight. This kite fight includes designing of the kite. The one with the most beautiful design will have a good score. Another factor to be considered is its ability to fly in its farthest capacity. Children and even adult people plays this native game. Mechanics. An equal number of players pick up each end of the rope. The players begin tugging the rope when the referee gives the signal. Each player pulls backwards as hard as they can. The teams continue pulling until the center of the rope or tape mark crosses where the referee is standing. The game ends when the referee declares one team has successfully pulled the pass to the center.